have to do anyways.
So many ways you can reward yourself.
There's so many different ways you can earn points.
I'm saving up for something special.
Each time I pay for my groceries, I'm putting a little bit away for my next trip.
What if $2 was all it took to open the door and step into a world of absolute perfection? Where outdoor living borders perfect fairways and where style and luxury is found in every corner. Someone will win this $3.7 million Marta Prize Home package in the heart of the Sunshine Coast. Get your tickets today and support a great cause at martalotteries.com.au.
Tonight, moving in a heartbreak, a family's home up in flames before they'd even unpacked. Airborne at the Britannia roundabout. How did the driver walk away from this? Better connections, tens of millions being spent to fast-track more housing in Adelaide's north. The border town great-grandmother, who's now Australia's oldest woman, her secrets to a long and happy life. And the Crows bounce back in style while the
American democracy. Every generation has an obligation to defend it.
In the United States, Tim Lester, 7 News.
Well, she's going to need a bigger cake. Coming up, meet Australia's oldest woman who lives here in SA, her secrets to a long life. Also, SA's dream in the desert that became a reality. That's on Flashback. And $30,000 at stake to shear a sheep in 30 seconds. Who has what it takes? These days, it's one of the state's biggest income earners, but when it was first proposed, it caused controversy and protests. On Flashback tonight, how Olympic Dam transformed the state's mining industry.
This ground beneath me is said to contain some of the world's largest and richest deposits of copper, gold, rare earths and, of course, uranium.
1979, when Roxby Downs was little more than a cluster of caravans.
There are only 2 drilling rigs and 10 men working on site.
Today, Olympic Dam is home to thousands of workers and brings in bucket loads for the state's economy. It was first proposed under the Tonkin government.
I believe we cannot afford to let those copper and other mineral deposits stay in the ground at Roxby Dam.
Ted Wennon sank the bore which struck pay dirt, but he had no idea of the significance of his core samples.
Impossible to know how big it really was. I still don't think they know how big it is.
But mining uranium proved a political hot potato, and it wasn't until 1982 the project got the green light in state parliament.
Former Labor MP Norm Foster crossed the floor in 1982 to make Olympic Dam a reality.
I had no regrets because I considered it was the right thing to do by this state.
But there were still hurdles to clear in Canberra.
Unlike these protesters on the lawns of Parliament House, a majority of Cabinet Ministers, I understand, agrees that the Roxby Downs project has to go ahead.
There were environmental and Indigenous concerns to overcome.
The Cookada Aboriginal people say this is their land, and the dreaming myths of the sleepy lizard began here.
As one worker put it, Roxby's been on again, off again and on again too often for anyone to really get excited.
Protests went on for years over the mining of uranium.
Demonstrators gathered outside the main gate of the Wennon shaft in a bid to stop miners from beginning their shift.
Roxby was seen as Australia's new Broken Hill.
Roxby Downs is scheduled to go into production in mid-1988, and for the past 12 months it's been full speed ahead at the mine, both above and below ground.
The township was officially opened in our bicentennial year.
It's hard to imagine that just 2 short years ago, none of this township even existed.
But as the copper, gold and uranium came out of the ground, the protests continued.
A noisy protest by anti-nuclear demonstrators has failed to stop the first shipment of Roxby Downs uranium from leaving Adelaide.
About 150 anti-uranium protesters had been holding a vigil on the wharf, and when they tried to stop the trucks, about 30 uniformed police moved in.
In 1996, John Riddell went deep underground to see just how fast the mine had grown.
Almost 100 kilometres of roadway honeycomb this giant ore body, and every day the products it produces have an impact on the lives of millions of people all around the world.
45 years on from that dream in the desert, Olympic Dam is now one of the biggest uranium mines in the world.
This is Joan Bullock at Roxby Downs for 7 National News.
I've always wondered where John Riddell got to, now I know.